So, welcome back to another Q&A here on Eileen the Mastiff. So, without further ado, we'll dive straight into it. Through Instagram, through YouTube comments, we've been getting questions about kind of how we've been raising our English Mastiff puppy Eileen, and we're going to dive into it. This week, I'm going to ask Rachel the questions this time, because last time you asked me, and if you like it, we'll kind of go back and forward, I suppose.
Yeah. And a note that we're answering questions that are sort of specific to Eileen at the age she kind of is now.
Yeah.
Just to keep them relevant rather than answering like future stuff.
Yeah, cool, because we'll do that when we get there.
Exactly.
Perfect. So, cool. So, puppy Mastiff questions. And the first one, which people have asked more than I was kind of expecting really, is why is it that this time round we chose for you to take the lead in training Eileen rather than, as it has always been, of me taking the lead in training our dogs?
Yeah. So I did actually answer this on Instagram and I came up with there's 3 reasons. Number 1 is it was me that begged you to have another dog. Mm-hmm. So that kind of puts the responsibility on me. Number 2 is that you're so busy with work now. So I think people compare it to when we had Mabel, which, yes, was only a year ago, but the difference in the amount of work that you do now is pretty vast.
And it's not just the quantity, it's just the type of work is different now, from me working as kind of a YouTuber and dog trainer to now running this, what is an international business. It's just different. Yeah. And when lockdown eases, I'm going to be traveling all over the world quite regularly. So that was a big reason that I was kind of dragging my heels on getting another dog, of practicing what I preach around making sure you're in a good life environment. Yeah. But like you say, you kind of... And
also because I've always been quite wary of being left alone with the dogs when, like, they do listen to me. It's not that, but they don't listen to me as well as they listen to you. So I think really this time we were like, no, if I'm going to be at home with the dog, with the boys, it needs to be me, really. And I can't remember what I said the other reason was. I think just that I wanted to.
Yeah.
Which I do. So
your first dog was Roxy, wasn't it? Bull Mastiff.
Yeah.
And there is just a thing about having a Mastiff in the home, isn't there? That you can't explain until you've experienced it.
Yeah.
So, into the second question, and if you've kind of been following me and Rachel through like some of the older podcasts and stuff we did, a lot of people remember that when we first started this process of, okay, Mabel had passed away and we needed a bit of time, but we decided we wanted to get a dog, we'd kind of narrowed it down to an English Mastiff and a Doberman were the 2 breeds that we were really interested in, and people wanted to know kind of why it is that we ended up settling on an English Mastiff over a Doberman, and again, with it kind of being more your decision this time, I think that's a better question for you.
Yeah, well, that's kind of also the answer. Is that because we decided with Will's work, etc., that the dog was more my dog, not my dog, but for me to be training, I preferred the qualities of an English Mastiff over a Doberman. So we were looking for something that was for a breed that was more low energy, that would get on super well with the boys. I just felt like a Doberman would be quite a big commitment for me if I was on my own with the dogs and the boys. That a Doberman, especially a puppy, would need a lot of exercise that I can't necessarily provide.
I would love to I will have a Doberman at some point in the future, but again, I'm just not in the stage of my life to be able to give that commitment that you're talking about that's required. I've always focused on more companion animals, and in my work with guard dogs, it's been more kind of natural family guardian breeds rather than specific personal protection or kind of IPO or French ring training. It's something that really interests me, but again, it'll be something that when I start that, I will become obsessed with it, and when that happens, which will happen, that will be when I probably explore down the route of going for a Doberman. I think I'd have a Doberman over a Malinois or a Shepherd if I got into those kind of training things, and that's when I'll get a Doberman, but I need to be at a time where I can commit that level of time required for something like that.
Yeah, I feel like we filmed a video and there was maybe 5 breeds that we went through, and I can't remember what the others were. I think one was a Mastador.
Bull Mastiff and Connie Corso again.
There we go.
I remember it very well.
Yeah, so the English Mastiff, just spot on for us. And now we've got her, I can say that it's definitely the right decision. Yeah.
Right then, so the last question is a little bit of a longer one, so I can't memorise it, I'll have to read it off. So I'm looking at getting a Great Dane, and with all the large breeds, I feel there is always a greater chance that a person or dog is afraid of them. So how do you, A, deal with this, B, train a dog to gently or not approach other dogs or people, and C, are there any special commands or manners you think are especially important with bigger dogs in terms of their interactions with other dogs and people? Love what you guys do. So, being the king of waffle, I could go off on one about that question. Do you want me to
start and then...
If you, yeah, I'll jump in and help if there's from a more professional standpoint.
Okay, so from my opinion of this, yes, that is a thing. It's 100% a thing. When we had our bull mastiff, people would cross the road to get away from her, those kind of things. I think especially though, with perhaps those type of mastiff breeds where people think they look intimidating. Now, with a Great Dane, or possibly even with Eileen as an English Mastiff, I'm actually not so sure that it would be as bad.
It'll be bad, but not as bad.
Yeah, as with that. Because I think people would recognise a Great Dane.
Mm-hmm. So got the Scooby-Doo effect, haven't they?
Yeah, and the English Mastiff, like, she will just look like a horse or something. So I think people will be intrigued about that. In terms of special manners, I don't know whether you would agree with this, but all dogs should have manners.
Preach.
Whether your dog is big or small shouldn't make a difference. And actually, like, that's something that really winds me up, so I'll try not to waffle on about that. But yes, your dog shouldn't just be jumping on the sofa. It shouldn't be jumping up people. It should be waiting patiently for stuff. But any dog should be doing that. I don't think you need to be doing anything different as long as... if you're following along with what we do with manners and training and socialisation. What was the other thing? On walks, like how to stop them going up to other dogs and stuff.
Was another one, yeah.
Good heel training. I don't know, like I'm not planning really on ever having Eileen off a lead on a walk. Mostly because it's different. I suppose it's different with an English Mastiff than a Great Dane. I don't think she'll want to. But yeah, so I don't know if you want to jump in on that. Okay,
I'll kind of skim over this again. So you nailed it with the people, yeah, it is a thing. It comes with the territory. It's something I've always dealt with, and I'm also very self-aware of how I look and then attach a bull mastiff, Connie Corso, those kind of, it just is a thing. Yeah, with our bull mastiff, we used to have people cross the roads, dog owners of little dogs would pick their dogs up above their heads just through seeing us, even though our bull mastiff was wonderful. Used to happen all the time. It's just something that you need to be aware of is the case. So if you get one of these big dogs, there's nothing you can do about that. You just need to be aware of it. My thing is always, well, then you need to be a shining light, an example of what these dogs actually are, rather than furthering that stereotype. That's kind of my thing on that. My answer exactly with, I don't care if you're working with a Chihuahua or an English Mastiff or a Great Dane, I would do exactly the same thing. My expectations are exactly the same, and that's where I preach manners are so important. Sit, stay, wait, calmly, quietly with good manners. Yes, if a Chihuahua has bad manners, the results of that aren't going to be as serious as if a Great Dane jumps up an old lady versus a Chihuahua jumps up an old lady, but it doesn't change the fact that neither of those dogs should have done those things. So I'm not going to excuse somebody with a smaller dog letting them get away with it or tell you that you should do more than that. Everybody should do it. So perfect answer there. As for kind of out and about off lead, again, that's kind of where manners / obedience and socialisation always comes in. Socialise your dogs well. Implement calm, consistent leadership so that your dog will look up to you for guidance and direction under all circumstances. And that time when you're out and about and there's a little dog that's scared of your Great Dane, your recall is impeccable. You recall them away into a calm, quiet, lovely heel walk, and there's no issues. If you can't do that, your Great Dane shouldn't be off a lead. Again, very simple, basic, common sense approaches to those things. Again, same principle. I would have a Chihuahua have the same manners, socialisation and rules, boundaries and expectations around other dogs than I would a Great Dane. It's the same thing. All stems from calm, consistent leadership on your part. Focus on those things, and it doesn't matter if the dog's big or small. They'll be calm, quiet, well-mannered, beautiful, perfect canine companions. And I think I did that without waffling too much.
You did, but then I was going to ask you a question now.
Feel free.
So I just said then about not letting Eileen off the lead. How do you feel about that? Am I being a bit of a wimp?
I know you're saying that through you not being as confident with dogs as I am, and being as confident. And it's a very common thing because you can't control the variables with the other dogs, so it's just easier to not have them on the lead. That is actually, in my opinion, if you're not 100% confident, well then don't let your dog off a lead. It is that, unless obviously we've got paddock, so he'll be off his lead down in the paddocks. But if you're going for a walk, you're going for a walk, so you'll heel walk. Eileen will have a beautiful heel. If you struggle with that, I will step in and ensure that that's the case. Because I'm not involved, Rachel's just taking the lead. So me and Joe, we go on a full pack walk every morning. When we go for the 2-3 hours, Eileen probably won't come because it'll be too much exercise for her, especially when she's young. But if we're doing a 40-minute, we'll take Eileen and I'll let her off lead with the other dogs. But that's because I'll know that I'm under complete control and have complete confidence in my skill set as the leader in that scenario.
And obviously I'm not saying that we won't work recall and stuff. Yeah, it's not like I'm not going to do that stuff. I think your answer was more of a personal, subjective answer to you as opposed to about big dogs in general. Yeah, definitely.
And that's fine. Like I say, if you haven't got a dog that can be off lead, don't let them off lead and work on them being off lead. And even if they can or can't, if you're not comfortable with it, then don't let them off lead. I will be comfortable and Eileen will have a perfect recall. So when she's with me, she will be off lead. Subjective, common sense. There's no right and wrong answer to those things, but if you put the work in, then it allows you to make those choices. If you don't put the work in, then sometimes you're forced into a scenario.
Cool.
Happy days. So I stop there before I get on my high horse.
Yeah, I think that wasn't too bad.
Happy days. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, we'll do another one of these next week. We'll keep doing these for as long as you guys find them valuable and keep watching them. So if you like them, ask us more questions, watch them.
If we're boring, don't tell us.
And if these videos start getting dislikes or the views go down, we'll know that you're not really interested in them anymore, which is absolutely fine. We want to make the content that you want to see and that you find helpful. So, like I say, if you want to see it, ask more questions. If you don't, let us know what you do want to see.
Or if you I was going to say, if you have got things you want to see, let us know, because we've got ideas, we are planning.
Yes. Happy days. Cool. See you on the next video.
Bye.
Peace.